In Louisville, Kentucky, we went to the Nerd Rage Gaming Championship Series and interviewed Tye Bryan, a local player competing in the NRG Modern Tournament. In this video, we covered Tye's black-red mid-range deck that looks very interesting. Let's see what it's all about.
Basically, it's a tournament where all the best players in the world from different countries and everything come in the same room and play the game that we all love.
I am Jace Belair.
And I am Stoneforge Mystic.
It's just a really amazing game.
It's just mind-boggling to even think about. I guess the rest is history.
I like the high power level of cards, and I like the accessibility of the format. It's not as expensive as Legacy. The cards are better than if I was playing in Pioneer or Standard. I'm Tye, I'm playing Rakdos Scam, and I'm playing at NRG Louisville Showdown. My deck attempts to leverage Undying cards like Feign Death and Undying Evil, and high power evoke elementals such as Fury and Grief to cheat a cheap 4/3 with Menace or a cheap 4/4 with Double Strike into play with added effects. We play a total of 19 lands. It's a pretty heavy fetch shock mana base with 4 basics, 2 Blood Crypts, and then 8 fetch lands in total. You're playing a total of 18 to 20 creatures. Ragavan is the best 1-drop in Modern as a 2/1 with the ability to put you up on mana and steal cards from your opponent. Dauthi Voidwalker is a 3/2 with Unblockable, and the ability to exile graveyards just as a static effect is very useful. Fury and Grief are the titular cards that make the deck. We are scamming these elementals to get extra effects. And then we play 2 Seasoned Pyromancers. He is just a good mid-range card. He refuels your hand, makes more bodies to block or attack. And then we play 2 Tourach. In a format where Leyline's Binding is an extraordinarily powerful card, protection from white means he's extraordinarily difficult to answer. I am playing your Undying effects, such as Undying Evil, Undying Malice, Malakir's Rebirth. Your Undying effects are probably the closest thing you would get to a combo in the deck. Just being able to go Grief, pitching a black card, Undying Malice to Grief your opponent again is kind of the name of the game. I'm playing 2 Lightning Bolts. Lightning Bolt functions as primarily a removal spell, but also functions as late game damage to close the game out. 3 Terminates to answer problem creatures, and I am playing 3 Thoughtseize, which is just Grief 5 through 7. I came prepared for a lot of Underworld Breach, a lot of Murktide, and a lot of Hammer Time. So I packed 2 Hitotsugu Consumes All, 2 Unlicensed Hearse, and then 1 Brotherhood's End. Hitotsugu Consumes All is great against both Breach and Hammer Time as they play a lot of low mana artifacts. So its first mode of destroy every non-land permanent with CMC 1 or less eats most of their board. Its second mode is great against Breach as it exiles their graveyard so they can no longer Underworld Breach you. And then its third mode is just a clock to help you close the game out. And for Murktide, we brought Unlicensed Hearse. It gives us a little bit of control over when the Murktide happens and whether they have Delirium or not, meaning we can turn off problematic Dragon Rage Channelers or Unholy Heats. My best matchup is Yawgmoth combo. Between a combination of Fury, Blood Moon, and Dauthi Voidwalker, we tend to not have much trouble against anything that deck wants to do, and our creatures are just generically better than theirs. I would not like to see Zoo. It seems intuitive that we would have a good matchup against Zoo, playing main deck Blood Moon, but because they can present a 2-mana 5/5, and we have very few answers to deal with a creature that large, we have a hard time keeping up with their aggressive starts. Rakdos Scam has a good matchup against a lot of the field, and it gave me the chance to cast Thoughtseize in Modern. It's one of my favorite Magic cards ever, and the chance to get to cast it again in Modern is great.
That's all we have for this episode. We'd like to thank Tye for giving us the time to share his deck. It seems like it has a lot of potential. What recommendations do you have? We'd also like to thank Nerd Rage Gaming for letting us film at the event. Their tournament series is great. The rounds go by fast, the staff is awesome, and the players look like they're having a good time. Make sure to come back for our next episode, and don't forget to check out our other modern deck techs. Here's a clip of the last one we shot.
The games are just always interesting and unique. The gameplay it's very high stress, but they're so dense, and you got to think through so many various decision trees and all that, and it's just, every game feels somewhat unique, even though there are sort of like these patterns that you can sort of identify and you can leverage that skill. I would just break it down to the gameplay. The gameplay's fun.